What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. If it's your first time here, well, it's everybody's first time here because this is the first video on the channel. Welcome to Buff Med. Just looking back on my medical school career, I wish that I had these 5 tips I'm going to share with you guys right now on how to do well to survive your first year of medical school. Yes, first year of medical school can be scary as crap, but guys, we're going to break it down to you right now. It's not all roses and sugar. It's tough. But take these 5 tips I'm about to give you today, apply them, it'll make your journey to being a doctor that much easier. The first tip I definitely advise any med student is to find a mentor. Yes, this might not be what you wanted to hear first, but if you talk to any upperclassman, Med 2, Med 3, Med 4, they'll tell you the most important thing you can definitely have as a med student is someone who's been there, who's done that, who has the resources, which will be one of my tips, to guide you along the pathway to do well in med school. A mentor can be a friend who's in Med 3 or year 3, year 4, or even a doctor. Who, as you get higher in clinical years, you meet different attendings and residents on your clerkships who have been down the path that you're going down or in the field you're interested in going in, who can give you real world advice or tips and letter of recommendation that you will need later on to do well, to be the best doctor you can be. So finding a good mentor will help you do well in med school. My second tip that people really don't take to heart is when it comes to resources. When we come in as year 1, we're little babes in the game. Like, we don't know anything that we're doing when we first get in med school. Let's be honest, we don't really know anything. And now, number one thing you want to do is get the most resources. I want to get Kaplan, I want to get UWorld, I want to get this, I want to get that. But my advice to you guys is to limit the amount of resources. You'll hear people where you can come in as a Med 1 who tell you to use this, use that, use this, use that, use this, use that. But ultimately, it's going to come down to what works for you the most. And I'll be posting videos on this channel of the best resources for each topic that you guys will face when it comes to doing well in your exams, doing well in OSCEs, doing well in just general knowledge as a doctor. So it's really good you find 2 or 3 resources that you want to utilize and master. Trust me, guys, it's better to master few resources than to be okay with 10 resources. My third tip, which might seem, again, not what you guys want to hear, is to make sure you have a lot of self-care. Trust me, guys, when you get into the routine of studying 3 hours, 4 hours, that's nothing for a med student. Let's talk about real numbers, 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours a day. It's very easy for us to lose sight of taking care of ourselves. So that means massages, going to the gym, eating right, going for runs, going for walks. Just talking to someone who can help you relax is going to be a very good key to maintaining, especially when you're studying long hours. Because the worst thing that happens to you as a med student is to burn out. So many doctors, now I put this statistic right here, leave the medical field because of burnout. So many medical students, I put the statistic right here, leave medical school because of burnout. And you don't want to be one of those students who put in so many hours studying, so much money in this field, and you'll eventually burn out. So definitely make time for yourself. Do the thing that you enjoy. For me, it was playing piano. It was playing video games. It was starting a YouTube channel. Also, I have a tech YouTube channel. If you haven't seen it yet, be sure to just follow this number right here. Subscribe to that also. But do things that you love doing that gives you that sense of normalcy. Do what you like to do. It's very simple. My 4th tip, and I definitely wish I had done this from the very jump when I started medical school. Doing questions, doing questions, doing questions. Literally, if you get into, literally, if you get into the habit of doing questions, that will be your biggest bang for your buck when it comes to learning material, obtaining material, and getting used to performing in test-like situations. I'll be posting videos very soon for my students, my med friends who are currently studying for step 1. And I'll show you guys how I was able to get 250 plus on my step 1. Questions were the basis to my study routine. I did over 10,000 questions, almost close to 20,000 questions. Don't worry about it, I like going into detail. I did so many questions, and if I had did that from Med 1, year 1, I would have been so good at tackling questions, retaining information, because when you do questions, especially from a good question bank, such as AMBOSS, a very new one called Med School Companion, UWorld, USMLE RX, they present patient case, your patients and your information to like a patient-like case. the same way you're gonna get tested on it. So by doing this more and more and more, and from the jump, you'll get very adept at doing questions and being able to relate material very, very good. My fifth tip and last tip is to learn how to think as a doctor from year one. Yes, it might be hard to try to think as a doctor coming in as a med student, but you want to think like a doctor, act like a doctor, and pretty much you want to portray yourself as a doctor, because what you are right now is a student doctor. And I found out even when it came to testing situations, when I dressed up for my test, I felt more professional, and I often did a lot better when opposed to when I went into my testing situation with my hoodie on and my jeans and stuff like that. So you also want to approach your knowledge from a doctor's aspect. Don't just keep it separated as individual facts. Oh, glycolysis start with this, blah 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 blah. You want to start integrating as a med one, a year one, and try to think like a doctor would think. Because as you begin to do that from a very early point of your medical school career, you'll quickly be able to, when you get into year 3 and year 4, you're already used to doing this as a medical student. But guys, those are my top 5 tips. Find a mentor. Step 2 is to limit the amount of resources that you use. Make sure you take care of yourself. I don't want you guys burning out. You gotta chill out for a second. Do what you like to do. My 4th tip is to do questions. And my 5th tip is to think like a doctor from year 1. So guys, that's all I have for this video. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, the bell notification, and leave a comment down below and let me know what semester you are in the med school. If it's your first year, just put med 1 and we're gonna get this channel rolling. Thank you for joining.